I spent my Christmas holiday in hell. Not exactly hell, but Wichita, Kansas. It's at least in the same zip code. I visited my parents. I see them once a year, every year, at Christmas. In hell. Wichita. Never have I seen such a white bread town of wonder bread people living their little poppin' fresh dough lives, or heard the echoes of nothingness echo in the empty chambers of so many heads. The big empty. Wichita. The first thing I did once I got to Wichita was search for a gay man. I had to. I know it's a stereotype, but god damn it, it's true. If I wanted to unearth a theater scene or art or poetry readings or any other similar expressions, chances are a gay man could tell me where they could be found. It was a full 3 days of constant looking before my gaydar went off, pinpointing a fried-eyed lad in a mall bookstore. I told him of my plight and his eyes went wide with terror. He grabbed my shirt and hissed, "There's no art! There's no theater! There's no culture whatsoever except for tractor pulls and antique shops! Leave at once and take me with you!" I felt bad for him. I bought a Tom Robbins book and told him to keep the change. I looked, and I looked, man. I searched for every kind of life. I kept my ears open and my eyes, and all I found was rampant racism and homophobia and bumper stickers that said things like "Impeach Clinton" and "Don't blame me, I voted for Rush." I heard the word nigger more times in a day than I'd heard in years, and was introduced as my vegetarian liberal son more times than I could shake a stick at. Even my sister brought me down with all her talk of fag bashing and boot, scoot, and boogie. Here's a real-life snippet of dialogue from my time in Wichita, sampled from a conversation I had with a 7-Eleven clerk. "You a faggot?" "Excuse me?" "You a faggot?" "Why, you want to go out on a date?" "Oh, hell no! I ain't no faggot. And why you ask me such a stupid question?" "Well, I saw them earrings in your ears and I just figured." "Oh, you just figured, huh? Look, just ring me up Cletus and throw in a couple of little Slim Jims." By this time I'd had enough of Wichita and still had a week to go on my so-called vacation. I swore not to leave the basement of my parents' house and retreated into a world where racism and homophobia don't exist, where people of all races and colors and creeds and styles and flavors cavort and interact with one another in peaceful, homogeneous bliss. Yes, I escaped into MTV, where all colors bleed into one and march into the setting sun, hand in hand and pumping and grinding and throbbing to the same uniglobal beats. Life in MTV is all colors and motion, quick snapshots of life in the free zone, unshackled from real-world constraints. Black hands clasp white hands, clasp red, yellow, and brown hands, jerry curls and mop tops, skinheads and afros, in a rainbow nation of blue, red, and green hair dye. At first, like a bright pink beehive of cotton candy, MTV stands tall as the only plane of existence where racism can be conquered, along with life's other pressing problems. All we need is love, after all, a Coke and a smile. Life is easier with the right tube of freeze-dried potato snacks and the right brand of fermented hops and barley, with the right tooth-whitening gel and the right pimple cream, and the right fast car and the right homogeneous chick or dude on your arm. Life in MTV is no more difficult than diving for that volleyball save or bungee cording microwave oven. I want it hot, I want it now, wrinkle-free, money-back guarantee. Call now and save. Our operators are standing by. Do it now. Wait a minute. Is this the alternative to blatant racism? Free love in a sexist, materialistic society where young, nubile bodies are the end-all, be-all reward for becoming all the commercials say we should be? Drink the right beer and they will come. Wear the right clothes and they will come. Drive the right car. Eat the right pasteurized processed cheese food substitute. And beauty? Is this beauty? This land of cheekbones and shiver hips and wrist sticks and big blue marble eyes? This is acceptable. This is what young girls aspire to be. This is what's supposed to make my blood boil, my backbone slip, my flag unfurl. Am I to discard all women without a low-slung guitar mama lips, hips, tits, power, lips, hips, tits, power, fire hose beauty in a warrant video, young girls shaking their money maker for my masculine bovine pleasure. Is life nothing more than soundbite orgasms and party hardy on the shoreline, Bettys and Barneys toing and froing along hacky sack beaches and bright light boulevards, in souped up love drive cars and cattle call editions, and Makeup Man, what's up? Makeup Man on the set now, and where's my agent, and where's my close-up, and where's my new car, Caviar, 4-star daydream, promised to me in the brochure of Life Incorporated. God damn it, I want my MTV. God damn it, I want my 90120. God damn it, I want my Melrose Place. And then an old video came on, and suddenly I was staring into that pudgy face of that chick, that woman in Romeo Void, that girl who's saying I might like you better if we slept together. And I thought, hey, at least they're showing someone who doesn't fit into their narrow view of what beauty is. At least they're showing someone who's proud of who they are, even though they don't have sunken cheeks and killer hair. But wait, it's a trap too, because she's singing, I might like you better if we slept together. I might like you better if we slept together. And oh Jesus, is that the only way they think a fat girl can get my attention in this fucked up, cellophane, styrofoam, clamshell world that shotgun blasts my free will onto the wall with a splatter and mosquito feeds my flesh and loins? And this is the part where I scream. After 3 days of intravenously feeding on MTV, I tore the remote from my hands and turned the fucking thing off.
Yeah!
I was panicky. I was shaking and quaking in my boots. I was amped on my parents' weird diet of high fat, high cholesterol, low fiber, meat and potatoes. I flossed more meat out of my teeth in a week than I had in the last year. I had to find life in this city. There had to be a place to go with people who need release. There had to be coffee houses somewhere in this town of 450,000. Filled with the miscreants and malcontents and ne'er-do-wells I was yearning for. I ran to the coffee house and looked for the word cafe, and there were only 4, count them, 4 entries, and they were all closed. And it was only 9:30 at night, and Jesus, God, save me. So I looked up the word coffee in the yellow pages and called each and every brewing service and asked if they knew of a place where poetry was being read. And the very last, at the bottom of the page, told me of a place called the Blue Sky Saloon, and that they held Tuesday night poetry readings. And I looked at the calendar, and yes, it was Tuesday. And I called the Big Sky Saloon, and I got directions, and jumped into my mother's wood-paneled Oldsmobile Buick family truckster. I rocketed to downtown Wichita like a madman with a mission from God. And I found the place on the first try. And I burst in with my poetry in hand to find them just finishing and turning off the mic. And I shouted, no! It's not over! Give me that fucking mic! And I whipped that mic from the MC's hand and proceeded to spew the bile within my very soul in a cathartic, Krakatoan burst of anger, angst, and frustration. Racist, sexist, homophobic pigs! Pelting the black-clad audience, chain-smoking clothes with great barbaric lyops, as black and sticky as road tar on a hot Alabama summer day, and their eyes peeled back and their faces melted like the Nazis and Raiders of the Lost Ark. And when I finished, I collapsed on the floor like a bone motel in a 7.9 Richter scale earthquake, gasping and wheezing and totally spent as a sucked orange, wallowing in a pool of my own steaming sweat and saliva. And they clapped. 1 or 2 at first, and more, until the whole room, all 4 of them, all 4 of them, the kids in their Cure shirts and Bauhaus shirts and God Save Me Alm alternative poses, they clapped their hands and stomped their feet and shouted their approval for my verbal self-immolation. They felt my pain and I theirs, and for a full 5 minutes I lie there gasping, and they clapped and clapped until their hands chapped, and then slowly filed out of the Blue Sky Saloon and left me to my pain. Actually, I'm lying. I had a pleasant time with the folks back home. We ate good, wholesome food, rented lots of family-oriented videos, and even went ice skating one night. I can't wait until next year.